What's up, fam? What's up, fam? What's up? And welcome to the Hope TV. So excited you've taken time to spend with us on the day. We're honored to have you here. It means the world to us. We're hope dealers, and we're here to provide you with a daily dose of hope. So welcome to the Hope TV. Andre and I are here. For those who've been here with us before, welcome back. To those who for the first time, welcome to the Hope TV. You've tuned in to the Marriage Matters broadcast, and we're excited to have you here. We started this platform back in March. I called it just my meager attempt to stay in touch with the members of our local community, and it's blossomed from just something that was just real small. Now we've had over 40 million views of our content in less than 6 months. We've been rolling, ain't we? Yeah, it's been crazy. We started this, and this broadcast actually, shout out to our women's ministry from our church who actually gave, I guess, the vision for this back in March, right before the pandemic set in, the week before actually. Under the women's ministry did something, and hey, we've continued it, and this has become one of our top rated shows here on Marriage Matters. It's called Marriage Matters. So welcome everybody who's watching through Apple TV, Roku, Twitch, Amazon, Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, the houseofhopeatl.com website, the edwithsmith.org website, the House of Hope Atlanta app. If you're watching through IG Live, and then last but certainly not least, I want to welcome everybody who's now viewing our content through our new website. We got a crazy website under whose website guru we've been saying, check it, that is right there. Look at us. Hope TV is right there, y'all. It's real clean, and all most of our shows are there. We're offering about 8 shows every day, actually, from mental health to financial freedom. The schedule is there for men, women, married couples, senior adults, youth. I mean, we have for leadership, even have something on comedy. I mean, it's all right there on the Hope TV. And so you can watch everything live. And so send the link out, help us to go to the platform. Daily devotionals are on there. That's KD, he's on there, man. Something for coronavirus victims. So we just got an amazing lineup of broadcasts that are now on Hope TV. I want you to help us get the word out. Get the word out. Spread that word. Share it with somebody else. And I appreciate our team for doing a wonderful job. So we're here today, and welcome to Marriage Matters. You've been hot with the last couple that you've had on here.
Thank you, sir.
I got to give you credit. She's been working with the producers for this broadcast, and they have been inviting some amazing people. I'm excited. And if you're married, strongly consider marriage. If you are in something that's complicated or a situationship you want to take to the next level, you're single, we just want to get some insight from some great people. We just want to believe in interviewing some wonderful people to see how they're doing it, to get encouragement and strength, because we all need it. So send the link out. Today we have a couple who's been a part of our church. I can't believe how long it's been. You know, we've been here 17 years. Can you believe that? We've been here almost 17 years in January, and we've met some beautiful people along the way. And our guests today are, of course, amongst that beautiful group that we've been able to meet. They're here with us. I was blessed to perform their wedding 12 years ago.
Wow.
It was a beautiful wedding. I still remember, man. Beautiful wedding, beautiful food they got down, beautiful music. It was classy, started on time. You know, I like them. I mean, yeah, that's what I knew. They did some real, I mean, you know, half our weddings, hour late, and, you know, and I mean, everybody was classy and beautiful. And it was wonderful. And they're here with us today, and we're so excited to have them here. They're both doctors, and this is the first time we've had this kind of approach on the show, and I'm excited. We want to welcome Doctors Will and Jared Landrum to the show. What's going on, fam? How y'all doing?
Hey, how y'all doing?
I'm good. Will and Jared, how y'all doing?
We're good. Thank y'all so much for having us. We really appreciate this. It's going to be fun.
Y'all look amazing. Look amazing. Wow.
So we always start with our first question. So I'll ask it to you, Jared. I want to know how you guys met. I want to know how Willie just, chased you down and, ran you down to get you to become a part of his life. So tell us how you guys met and how you got together.
It was definitely indeed a lot of chasing. But Will and I initially met through a mutual friend, one of my best friends. Shout out to Dr. Dawn. We went to undergrad together at Xavier. And she and Will went to medical school together in St. Louis. And so it was like, 2001-ish?
Yeah.
I came to visit, and he was at at her house, and he was over in the corner, y'all, acting really shy. And she introduced us. He was very standoffish, acting like he didn't want to meet me, didn't want to speak, didn't want to say anything at all. I'm just sitting there trying to have a conversation with him. He was not feeling me at all. But I'm just being very hospitable, just good Southern hospitality. And we met then, but we really didn't meet again until like 2005-ish.
4 or 5, somewhere up in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was going back to St. Louis to visit her.
By coincidence.
By coincidence. But at that time, I guess he mustered up enough nerve because he was blowing me up. When you come in, what time you getting here? We need to get up. We need to get together. We need to meet. But she was definitely the catalyst for us starting a friendship initially that turned into a good relationship. Now you got to ask Will what his version of it was.
Will, what I want to know is, what did Jared do to probably piss you off that first time in 2001 that made you not say that? Because I'm sure, knowing you and knowing Jared, I know she said or did something that aggravated you. So tell the whole story, Will. What happened in 2001 that made you curb her real bad and make her, and then, I want to hear the whole story. So tell me your side.
Oh, curb.
All right. So the real story is, she came down to see Don. Don called me because I lived around the corner. She said, "You need to come meet my friend Jared coming in town. I think y'all get along, get along." She's been playing matchmaker. I said, "Okay, I'll come check her out." So I came over there, and that's when you had those fishnet stockings on. So she had on some fishnet stockings or something like that. That's what really. So I did talk to her, but at the time, I'm not the one to, when I first meet someone, to just go after them. So I took it slow, but as she told you, I blew her up when she came back. That means she gave me her number. Correct?
No.
That means she gave me her number.
That's not true.
So
you were talking on Dawn's phone. Dawn handed you the phone, so we were talking through her number. Not. I didn't give you my number.
I got a number.
No.
And actually, I think we came to church that weekend, and I got a number at the church. Yeah. So anyway, I got a number when she came, and when she came back. Basically, at that time, I was focused on studies, so I wasn't, ready for a relationship. So I waited until the right time, and then
the right time.
When I was about to graduate, at that point, I went ahead and made my move, and the rest is history.
That's great. So Jared, tell us about yourself, because you're now in dentistry. We'll talk about that later. But I know there's a lot of people who go to Xavier end up going to medical school. So tell us where you're from. I know a lot of the story, but I want to hear people. Tell us where you're from. Your influences and what made you want to be a dentist.
Yeah, so I am actually from Moss Point, Mississippi. It's a town on the Gulf Coast of Mississippi. Shout out to Moss Point. The thing for me is I knew early on that I wanted to be a dentist. I was influenced by my dentist growing up. You hear people having horror stories about dentistry, and they hate the dentist. I get that every week, by the way. They hate the dentist, but I really loved my dentist style. And he was a really nice person. He really looked out for kids, because of course that's when I started seeing him. And so I knew that was probably the type of doctor I wanted to be. So what ended up happening, I knew I wanted to go to Xavier when I was in the 9th grade. And once I got to Xavier, it was really a situation where, you hang around the type of people you want to be like. And so I was just hanging around like-minded individuals who all wanted to be doctors. And for me, it was a no-brainer. Once I got there, I solidified that I definitely wanted to be a dentist, because it's a lot of perks to being a dentist versus a medical doctor. I think dentistry allows you to be more flexible. Will can probably appreciate that now, especially in this pandemic. And so I started, I graduated from dental school in 2006 after getting my master's, and after going to Xavier, 2006, this was like around, we were still dating. I moved to Atlanta. I moved for love. I didn't have a ring or anything, y'all. I just moved, but I had a job. Okay. I had a job lined up, but I just knew that dentistry was the thing for me. I got here. I worked for other people for a while. That was not fun. It really tested my patience. It tested my faith in wanting to continue to be a dentist, because working for someone else in the field of dentistry, it's a lot of ups and downs. So we, what we were like 1 year into our anniversary.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And pretty much Will was like, I was coming home crying left and right. I can't keep working at this job. By this time I had 2 jobs in dentistry. I was less than a year into dentistry. And so he was like, you know what? I think you need to open your own practice. I really had no vision of opening my own practice, but that's just a test of God putting people in your life that can have the vision for you. And so he said it, and then I put in the work to start looking for a practice. And I've been practicing 11 years, going strong, practicing in the Smyrna Vinings area. Absolutely have made the practice my own, because I initially bought an existing practice. But it's ups and downs, but it has been way more ups than downs. And I absolutely am passionate about creating healthy, beautiful smiles. I'm passionate about everything I do. I'm passionate about talking to people and interacting with people, because it's more than just teeth. People think, oh, she's a dentist, and it's way bigger than that. I preach to folks. We pray together. I get to know people's families, all that good stuff. So I love what I do, and I am, especially now, being off a full 3 months and coming back, in COVID, and it's really been an awesome experience. I tell people all the time, COVID has been a blessing for me and my family and my business. Not only has COVID been a blessing, but this whole Black Lives Matter movement has been an extreme blessing for my business as well. So that's it in a nutshell as far as dentistry is concerned.
That's awesome.
So Will, where are you from, and tell us about your journey to becoming a doctor.
Yeah, so I'm from a small town, South Carolina, called Barnwell. Actually, for me to become a doctor, when I was growing up, my parents kind of guided me that way in high school. I had the interest, and what interests me was, basically in my town had a lot of sick family members, a lot of sick family members of friends. Nobody knew what was going on. Nobody really understood. When you went to the doctor, nobody understood what you're talking about. So I wanted to kind of bridge that gap, initially just for family at home. So for me, it was, I think it was my junior year in high school. My parents sent me to, it's called Governor School in South Carolina. Went to Governor School for the summer, and I focused in medicine. So at that, during that camp, I was able to, my biggest fear was basically gross anatomy. So I went to a gross anatomy class during that camp, and I found out I could tolerate it, it wasn't that big of a deal. And since then, I basically got on the track to do medicine. From day one in undergrad, even though I went to undergrad on a football scholarship, well, half football, half academic, day one, my path was to do medicine. So I went to Wofford College, which was a small college in South Carolina, Spartanburg. And then I ended up going to St. Louis University. And actually, that's I tell people all the time, my dad told me to apply to that school. I didn't want to go to St. Louis. I mean, I had no idea about St. Louis. He said, out of all the schools I applied to, he said, apply to this school, you'll get into it. And that's the only school I got into, only medical school I got into out of all of them. And I ended up going there. The completed medical school, met her while I was there. Came to Atlanta to Morehouse, did residency with Morehouse at Grady, and I stayed in Atlanta, working at in the hospital network here in Atlanta. So I'm a hospitalist, board certified internal medicine. I don't do any outpatient medicine. I see all patients that are admitted to the hospital. And so right now I'm the medical director of a program down in East Point of Wellstar Atlanta Medical Center on South Campus, which I mean, I love that. I love that hospital. I've worked in all the suburban hospitals, but for me, I feel that I'm helping my people more when I come back to the city and to underserved populations, which East Point is. So, you know, I love going to work at that hospital because I feel like I'm treating my people and giving back to my community.
Let me ask you something, because you touched on something about how your parents guided you, you know, like just they exposed you to different things. They guided you in the direction. And a lot of times, you know, now with like us as younger parents, we tend to let the children, you know, decide, oh, I don't want to do this. I don't want to go to college. I want to do this, you know. But I like the way you said your parents guided you. Is that something are you doing that with your daughter, or, you know, you exposing her to things that you think, you know, may be good for her, or how are you guys handling that with your own daughter?
Definitely. We do that all the time. We get an earful from her, from her telling, and I told her, I did the same thing with my parents, you know, telling them, hey, stop pushing this on me. This isn't for me. But, you know, now being a parent, I can appreciate that as a parent, you can see in your child, you know, what their blessing is, you know, what their gift is, and guide them towards in that direction. So we definitely guide her. We see a little actor, model type career for her path. We kind of guide her that way for acting, and she when we sign her up for her acting camp, she complains in the beginning, but you know, a day in, she's sitting there loving it. You know, she forgets all about all her complaints that she had. So yeah, we definitely do that.
But another thing, we try to give her the things that she wants. If she says she wants to do sewing, we gonna buy a machine. We, you know, the things, because we don't know where her niche is right now. And so we want to be able to provide her with everything that she's asking for, of course, within reason. And so that she can figure out exactly what she wants to do. So tomorrow we're getting another dog. She says she wants to be a vet. So we want to, you know, put those responsibilities on us, even though we probably will be the one responsible for all of that. But we want to try to help navigate and help guide her into the interest that she has. I think that's super duper important. So I think it just really kind of has to be a mix a little bit. You know, she says she wants to do certain things. I don't want to tell her no, because it may end up being that thing that she ends up having as a career. But there are some sparkles and glimmers of other things that we see through her. And we talk to her about, you know, just trying it, just like with food. Try it. If you don't like it, you don't have to do it again. But we want to see her try certain things. And she's really open. She's an open kid.
So, producers, I hope you guys can hear me. So while we're on the point of talking about Addison, y'all listen, I call their daughter the best dressed child at House of Hope Atlanta. You should see her. I'm with Daddy. Addison, if you're listening, modeling, acting. Producers, if you have this picture of her, she went to this photographer and they did her up. So I want to show you guys this picture of Addison. And I promise you, she looks just like a model.
Wow.
Wow. Told you, isn't that amazing?
That's just royal. That's Wakanda forever. Just wow.
Well, it is.
It's like it's just born with it, just natural. You know what I mean? And I think that's so powerful. That you know, you talked about that. You know, train up when the Bible talks about train up a child in the way they should go. That and what you just said was so. That's really what it means, is to find out what those gifts are, what those talents are, and you nurture them.
Yeah.
I think a lot of times we try to force them to go in the way we want them to go, and not necessarily with their gifts. You know, I think y'all do. That's amazing. She's precocious and she got the style. And she's got it. It's amazing, and y'all doing a wonderful
The
job.
way she,
You know,
the way she looked at herself when she saw that picture, that let me know that we are doing what we're supposed to do. You know, the look in her
wow,
eyes and how in awe she was of seeing her own self. That was a beautiful thing.
that's absolutely amazing. Jared, you said something earlier I want to go back to for a moment. That you moved to Atlanta for love, but you didn't have the ring. So that means Will was here first, right?
Correct.
I came for a job. I'm sorry. A correction. I came
No,
for a job.
no, that's no, that's not what you said. No, what you said was I came for love without a ring, but I had a job. That's what you said verbatim. Now, I mean that I heard you correctly. I know what I heard, and I don't forget nothing. And I just want to talk about that for a moment because I think it's some lessons there for people who are single, right? Like that's a major move that okay, you got your own thing going, but at what time do you give of yourself in that way? What made Will believable? What made Will worth you stepping out? Because you could have gone anywhere.
Yeah.
What made you believe I'm gonna go there because I believe that that's something a future? Because I think a lot of people do it prematurely. They
That's true.
wishful thinking. But what was it about him? What did you feel that made you say, okay, it's a good step. He's there already. The job's there. What made you make that step?
You know what? For me, it really started in the beginning. I believe in the referral system. Will was referred to me by one of my closest friends who I know will not steer me wrong. Okay. So that was number one. Let's talk about that. That was number one. And then the whole time we were dating, we never talked about marriage. I knew that he was going to be my husband. It was just the way he carried himself. It was how he treated me. It was how we communicated and interacted with each other. I just knew we were going to get married. And what sealed the deal for me was, we went somewhere in South Carolina to meet your parents and your family. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm good. At that point, I knew we were going to get married, but so for me, I knew I had the career in place. It wasn't like I was just going somewhere, coming to Atlanta on a whim. I had my ducks in a row. And if it didn't work out, I would have been okay. I would have been okay because I had things to fall back on. I had myself, I had my career. It's not like I was just coming here, moving here just to be with him solely. Yes, that was the primary reason. But I think, and I don't think this is conventional. I think it's totally unconventional. So I don't know if I would even recommend people to do this, but it was just a feeling that I had that he would be my husband. I mean, because we never had any like major issues. And we really had a good relationship going. Like we laughed together, we communicated very well. But like I said, going back to having a friend recommend him, that meant a lot.
So how did you know she was like the one to be your wife? How did you know, Will? I mean, what was it about her, that just said, this is the one, I'm done looking? What was it?
I tell her all the time, she had a test, which we laugh about all the time, from the country. So I said, I told her, like, you got to be able to make some biscuits from scratch to be my wife. Because I'm just from the country. That way I know you was raised right. So she was able to make some biscuits from scratch. But beyond that, I mean, like you said, our relationship was, we were pretty much best friends. Our mindsets were the same. We both had our own career tracks. I met her family, she met mine, and my father. I look at my father a lot. we talked about it. He's like, yeah, you need to go ahead and lock her down. Stop playing. Stop playing. You know, gave me that fatherly advice. And, you know, all of my friends, they all told me the same thing. Hey, man, don't play around. That's your wife right there. I mean, I already knew that, but, you know, all of that just basically that certified it for me. But, you know, and Dawn was her friend, I call her my friend. She says her friend first. But, you know, again, her, you know, she said I got the referral, but she referred her to me. She called me to come over to the house to meet her. So, you know, all of that combined, you know, it was a no-brainer, you know. So, and again, I think we never discussed marriage, so, but we both knew it, you know. So when I proposed to her, you know, it was a surprise, but it wasn't.
Right.
So, Jerry, what about your family, Jerry? How did your family receive him? You know, when we got married. We didn't have the best of stories with my family. Her family loved me, but my sisters. You watched the movie Dumb and Dumber? You remember that movie Dumb and Dumber? That's how my sister. Yeah. So we didn't have the best situation going in. So how did your family receive Will?
So I think you and my brother first, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So my brother lives here in Atlanta. Will met at a football game or something, right?
He was playing football.
He was playing football.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Will met my brother first, and my brother stepped in as the role of father because my father is deceased. And so they got along well. My brother is definitely like hardcore. He don't play about his sister. And at that time, I was very surprised, but they got along very, very well. They have a really good relationship now. My mother also is like, she's that strong retired educator who don't play about her kids. And I think she may have sat Will down, had a conversation with him. I wasn't privy to the conversation. But I don't know if she scared Will, like it was a scared straight type conversation. But she basically, because you asked for her hand.
I asked her for your hand.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I don't know what that conversation was like, but I'm sure knowing my mom, there was some strong words and some strong advice about her daughter. But I think they just fell right into place. Like they have a good relationship.
So Will, inquiring minds want to know, what was that conversation like? Because
You know, I was about to
yeah, her Uncle Bunny had a conversation with me like that, and it was one of them scared straight type of conversations. So what did her mom say, Will?
Well, you know, her mom, she's just straightforward and direct. You know, just told me that she wanted me to treat her daughter right, and anytime I thought that I couldn't do that, you know, just bring her back to her. And it reminded me that her son is also a Marine, and that she don't have to send him after me. She don't want to send him after me, so it was just a straightforward conversation, you know.
Listen, my mom got up at the rehearsal dinner and told Will, if you got a beater, bring her home.
Rehearsal dinner.
The rehearsal dinner. Everybody else in there was like, oh. Oh.
I already heard it wasn't a surprise for me because I already talked to her.
I was so shocked. I was like, oh, okay.
Love her.
This is what we're doing tonight, the day before the wedding. Okay.
You know what we're interested in, you know, this whole pandemic has kind of, you know, shaken everything. You know, I have never been in front of a computer, laptop, or iPad this much my whole life. I'm zoomed out of Zoom and video conferencing. So I mean, really, my whole life I've been at church all day today, you know, filming. So this is shaking everything. So what I'm curious is about both of your careers. You know, Will, you are internal medicine, you know, director of the hospital, you know, your department. You know, Jerry, you are a dentist business owner. You know, run a real whole dental practice. How has the pandemic affected what you do professionally? I'm curious. What, you know, you said it was a blessing to you, and I think a lot of people can relate to that. But how has it affected you both professionally?
Yeah, well, okay, so we were shut down for 3 months. But you know what? It was the best 3 months in the whole wide world. I got the full experience of what being a wife and a mommy was really all about. I was able to learn a lot about my daughter's learning style with virtual school and all that good stuff. I was cooking every day. Somebody was happy about that.
Yep.
Happy even to the point where he was like, you ain't gonna go back to work. And so I wasn't even completely, and I'm a type A person, so I stress a lot. But this was one thing that I did not stress about my business. I knew that at some point we would be back in there, listening to people, friends, family, followers. I think people gained a greater appreciation for going to the dentist because they missed out on dental appointments and basic cleanings, and people had toothaches and all that kind of stuff. So, but when we came back, well, let me backtrack. So I love the time off because it brought us closer together, like extreme. It just was, it was great just to be home at night, me cooking over the stove, families like singing songs. I'm teaching Addison old school music and she's vibing off that. Like it was a whole mood for this family. But coming back, I'm way busier than I was before COVID started, which is a blessing. But it's also sort of a burden because it's just me. I've been the only dentist in my own practice. And so I'm overworked. So like today, I'm supposed to work today. I cancel patients because I'm learning that I got to take time for myself and to breathe, you know? But it's been a blessing in the sense that it has definitely increased my patient base. I was able to launch a whole new brand during COVID, my hair care line. So now that I'm back in the office, it's definitely, things have definitely picked up, but you know, it's just one of those things, you know, to whom much is given, much is required. And so we're pressing through. And I think it's definitely brought us closer together, gained a greater understanding of each other and how we move in business and how we can support each other business wise. What do you think, Will?
Yeah, I mean, I remember we were actually out of town when COVID hit here.
Yeah.
I got a call from my hospital and said, "Hey, we got our first COVID patient." And I was actually taking a class. We were in the West Coast,
San Diego.
And then I got another call later on that day, said, "Hey man, it's hitting us hard. We got a bunch of them in here." So I knew when I got back, it was going, you know, it was going to be time to work hard. So I think she stayed open for about one and a half, 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And at that time, I was working and I was working hard. I was seeing a lot of patients with COVID. And I came home and told her, you got to close your practice down because it's out there and it's dangerous.
Yeah, because he was my eye, because he's on the front lines of it. He basically was like, listen, nope, you got to shut it down.
And she was resistant at first. She was like, well, how am I going to pay the bills? I'm like, man, forget them bills. You got to close that practice because it's not safe right now.
Yeah.
So, you know, she closed the practice. So I was the only one working for about 3 months. And it was rough. It was rough because I didn't really want, I mean, for me, that was the only point in time where I didn't enjoy going to work because I saw more sickness and death in that 3 months than I probably see in a whole year and a half's time condensed into that 3 months.
Wow.
So when I came home, that was kind of, you know, when I came home, when I was off, I mean, that was just being home with her and Addison, you know, that was just my time to kind of get my mind right and recharge, and to get ready to go back, to go back to work and, serve the community and do what I got to do. So it was a great time as far as family, because we got, like she said, we got closer together, and I appreciated it more because of all the sickness and death that I was seeing at work. When I got home, it was like I was just looking forward to get home and to spend time with my family at home. So, that was how that 3 months went for us. But now, it's a whole lot better. Like I said, she opened back up. It was a boom. Just everybody needed to get their teeth cleaned. Everybody wanted to get their teeth straight. So it was awesome for her. We had to take we had to invest and put a lot of investment into making sure her office was safe. So we had to do a whole 180 in there as far as PPE and setting up her office to where, and basically reorganizing how everything worked in there to where everybody was safe, both patients and her staff.
And the staff, because for me, I was not going to go back in if the staff wasn't safe. And then we had our own little protocol at home.
Yeah.
Especially for him, I'm off, but especially for him coming in, I'm like, where have you been? Did you take your scrubs off at the hospital? What we doing? He would come in and immediately go to the basement. We wouldn't see him for like an hour because he's like, decontaminating himself and all that good stuff. Because we all know it's a scary situation. We're still dealing with it now. But I can imagine, like, if he brought that home, how he would feel, bringing it home to us. So we definitely have to still, take necessary precautions.
Well, I just want to thank y'all. We run out of time, and I didn't get a chance to ask y'all half the questions. Y'all gotta come back so I can ask the questions. I didn't get to have the questions, but thank you for doing this. Thank you for your service. You're on the front line of serving the community, and we're gonna come back. But I need to, Jared. I know you're overwhelmed right now, but I still want the people to know where you are, because you may not be,
Okay.
maybe get better for you in 3 months. But tell us about your practice and how people can connect with you and and come get their teeth straightened out.
Okay, so my practice is JLM Dentistry in the Spurning Vinings area. Like I said, 11-year history in the area, serving the community. You can reach us at 770-433-1515. We are on social media at JLM Dentistry. That's JLMDENTISTRY. Website is www.jlmdentistry.com. I'm on social media, Dr. Jared _DDS. That's DRJARRETT My hairline is on social media, Honey Envy, honeyenvy.com, honey_envy.
Thank you for tuning in. Hope you've been inspired. It's so wonderful to see African American people and couples doing it, who love God, love each other, and trying to do it the best way they can to get through it and to build a marriage and build a life. And that's wonderful. So, hey, thank y'all for the inspiration. We're going to close this broadcast, and we're going to come back next week. Don't miss next week, part 2 of this conversation. Going to close this broadcast now. But as always, if you be good to God, God will be good to you. Till next time, peace. Bless y'all. Thank y'all.